and welcome to the United States of Africa broadcast. My name is Akosua Prempe, reporting from the heart of the movement, where the voice of a new Africa rises each day. In tonight's feature, we bring you the full declaration of President Ibrahim Traoré at the 15th edition of the Forum for Scientific Research and Technological Innovation, FRSIT. In this powerful address, the President calls on Africa's scientists, researchers, and youth to awaken, to believe in their own potential and work toward an Africa that creates, builds, and innovates for itself. This is not just a speech. It is a call to revolution through knowledge and work, a reminder that the continent that once gave birth to humanity must now give birth to its own destiny. Before we begin, please subscribe, like, share, and comment to help spread this message of unity and self-reliance across the continent. Together, let's strengthen the bond of African consciousness and make the dream of a sovereign Africa a living reality.
I would like to welcome you all to this IOC hall for, I would say, the 30th anniversary of FRSIT in its 15th edition, since it takes place every 2 years. 30 years have passed. That's not just 30 days. And I think it's time, in addition to the theme, to take stock and assess the current situation. And so I would like to congratulate all the researchers, all the teacher researchers, all the inventors, all the innovators, for all the work that has already been accomplished, despite the difficulties that may be encountered along the way. Once I asked the minister, why do people need so much money to do research? He gave me just one example. Just to analyze certain cells in detail, people often need to go all the way to Europe to access, pay for, and use specialized scanning electron microscopes, as well as many other advanced scientific instruments and resources he mentioned to me. And it was also that day that I realized we don't have certain laboratory equipment. And I made a firm and unwavering commitment that in the year 2026, perhaps as early as the very first quarter of that year, the state-of-the-art, next-generation, cutting-edge research equipment and scientific instruments will be delivered and operational in Burkina Faso. I also made a very deliberate and intentional point of being physically present here today, standing before you to offer my support, to demonstrate my solidarity with you, and to show you my genuine commitment. My gratitude and all my encouragement for everything you do, and we will double our efforts so that those who want to create, who want to invent, can do so. The Faso Amdube page has been created. Many people have started to sign up, and we are still waiting for more people to continue registering. Because we are in the process of building a center called Faso Bangré, where all this equipment will be installed, and anyone who thinks they can create something will be able to come, find the necessary equipment to develop their invention, or, I would say, to copy the inventions of others. Because rest assured, no matter how close your friendship is, when you buy something and they say they're transferring the technology to you, they're not transferring everything. Of course, there is always a manufacturing secret that the person will keep to themselves. But there's no need to worry. We shouldn't doubt our own abilities. Certainly, I encourage you and I congratulate you. But we must not stay at this stage. I'm not going to just tell you what you want to hear. I might be a bit harsh this morning, but the main objective is to wake everyone up, especially the youth. Because I want to speak frankly, without sugarcoating or diplomatic language. Of course, Africa is the cradle of humanity, and that's scientifically proven, isn't it? It was you scientists who discovered that. That means the first human came from Africa. So why is Africa last today? I think these are the kinds of debates that should be happening on our TV shows, in our scientific forums, to understand why Africa is last. I suppose you've asked yourself that question. Something didn't work out. And today, Burkina Faso has decided to start a revolution. The revolution is certainly ideological, political, and behavioral, but it is also, and above all, scientific, technological, industrial, and so on. We shouldn't just stop at slogans. Because when we talk about revolution, we're talking about endogeneity. And when we say endogenous, it's not just about saying the word. We have to be able to work by ourselves and for ourselves. Personally, I believe that God is just. He created all men equal. We have the same organs. It's just that when it comes to the brain, I think scientifically, most of us don't even use 10% of our brain's potential. And it's by working that we manage to tap into the brain's potential. But let's admit that we are very lazy. We don't work. Of course, at some point, even here in Burkina, concepts were introduced to us saying that a person shouldn't work more than 6 or 8 hours a day. And we adopted that. And we fight for it. We're not really on the cutting edge right now. How can we possibly take on these kinds of rights, if I can even call them that, and expect to catch up with the delay that we're currently experiencing? Today we have companies working day and night. Work that used to take 3 years is now done in less than a year. In any case, my beautiful projects, day and night, for construction sites that were supposed to take maybe 10 months, they do it in 1 month. It's definitely possible. You know, they came to flatter us, to lull us to sleep with all sorts of concepts. We need to get rid of them. That's also what revolution is about. If we want to catch up, we have to get back to work. Africa cannot be the cradle of humanity. God did not create us stupid. He gave us all brains just like them. But we refuse to use the potential of our minds. Of course, those who stand out with an intellectual quotient above average, I would say, often get noticed, but very often they are recruited by imperialists to go work for them. And due to a lack of patriotism for some, they agree to leave. For others, the environment here simply wasn't conducive for them to express themselves. They left. We urge those who want to come back to return and work here, for their homeland, for their brothers. I have a word of warning for the youth. We need to wake up. I say it and I want to keep saying it. Don't think that drinking, dancing, singing, and partying will help us reach a certain level. With this kind of behavior, we can only remain slaves. To consume, and to consume what they produce, but above all, by giving away our wealth, our resources at a low price because we have no choice, we don't know how to do anything else. I came here to encourage research, to encourage innovation, to encourage technology. We need to be able to create. Let's take an example. We are in this room. Here are fans spinning everywhere. What is stopping young Burkinabés from creating fans, from setting up a structure to produce these fans? At the very least, we can copy them. Here are the air conditioners. What is stopping us from making them? Do you think they are smarter than us? The slam poet who just performed spoke exactly what was on my mind. That's why I laughed so much, as if he had spied into my thoughts. That's the reality. How did our ancestors historically distinguish a ferritic soil from another type of soil? How did they manage to work that soil, extract iron, and make their tools? Answer me. So, were they smarter than us? What is it that's making us more and more foolish? We need to ask ourselves that question and use the right words. Since they could do it, how did our ancestors manage to extract gold, to know which soil contained gold, to extract it and become truly wealthy? The richest man was in Africa, here in West Africa, I believe in Mali. How did it happen that today, just a few decades ago, all our gold deposits were handed over to others so they could come and exploit them and do whatever they wanted? Our ancestors were smarter than us, and we are less intelligent than they were. How did we end up becoming less intelligent? I'm not going to sugarcoat it, that's the right word. We say that we are revolutionaries. A revolutionary tells the truth. It might hurt, but it has to be said. So I want us to wake up. We cannot continue like this and hope to prosper. It's impossible. Every period, every month, or often every quarter, I like to tell the Minister of Commerce. He sends me the status report on our imports. I look at the volume and the amount we send abroad to export products. Often it hurts me. Often just sit down and do a simple calculation. Do you want economic sovereignty? Do a simple calculation. Clothing. If we take 20 million Burkinabés who each spend 10,000 CFA francs per month and per year to dress themselves, that is, if we import that, it amounts to 200 billion francs. But the average among you depends on 10,000 francs per year just to dress, simply by buying shoes or something that is imported. Have we really become so foolish that we can't sit down, think, and see everything that comes to us from outside and that we can't create here? I don't believe that. Just in clothing and in many other sectors, the numbers are there. You might be able to see in some statistics what we import and what we could even produce ourselves here. Last time, I asked those from the Presidential Initiative for Quality Education, I don't know if they're here, to send me an update on the equipment for the lecture halls and the room we're building. What do they plan to do? How do they plan to equip them? They sent it to me, and I took the time to read it over the weekend. I saw how many billions in contracts would need to be awarded for the equipment. You see, in your lecture halls, the students are there. In the lecture halls, your desk benches, in the offices and everything that goes with it. There are a lot of lecture halls under construction, so that's a lot of equipment. I saw the standards they've set and all that. All this furniture is supposed to be ordered from abroad. Since, there are representatives from these companies here, there are big companies that supply furniture, or in terms of interior decoration, home furnishings and so on. Those are the standards. So I told them, here's what's going to happen. Either we make it ourselves, using our own carpenters and welders here. Or you go out into the bush, find all the dead wood, cut out stools, and bring them to the universities. When the students sit on these stools, if it hurts them, it's certain that some of them will have the intelligence to create the benches we make. Or we can find local carpenters and welders right now who will make the type of folding bench we want. But I think it's already underway, isn't it, Lady Cap? There are some. That means the resources are there. But why should billions be spent when people can work internally to do it? You are capable of doing things. And besides, whether you are a minister, a director, or the president of an institution, there are more than... Since last year, I was telling people, when I was making decisions, those who had broken desks or whatever, I told them to use stones to prop them up so they wouldn't fall. If it falls, make it here. No one will import luxury furniture to Burkina Faso for these offices. We will make it here. So, for those who have a plan in 2026 to include in their budget the import of furniture, to have very beautiful offices and all that, forget it. It won't happen. We will make it here until it looks as good as we want. Because no one will live in luxury until we reach a certain level. If you want your luxury, you'll have to manage it yourself and use your own salary to create it. The rest will focus on work. And everyone needs to wake up. We have a lot of fun. Having fun is good, but we need to work first. But it's a policy to lull the continent to sleep. Let me take an event that happened. I have nothing against the organizers, nothing in particular. Miss University 2025. I think she won a lot of prizes. Maybe she's in the room here, I don't know. But at the very least, she received a check for 3 million, plus all expenses paid and all expenses paid trip to France by Campus France. Does that ring a bell? Does Campus France fund your event here? Okay. Which companies are supporting you and all that? I'll get to that in a moment. But it's just to say, as Islamer said again, as I said, he read my mind. Companies will now contribute to research. We have no choice. To innovation. And when we talk about innovation, invention, it's not necessarily about those who went to school. There are some who didn't go to school, who are very talented, who managed to invent things. That's why these centers are set up, to identify them, give them some scientific knowledge as well, and allow them to settle in and produce what we want. We cannot continue down this path. And for those who import furniture, as I just said, I invite you to find good carpenters here, form solid groups, and start funding the production of the quality you want. You cannot import and rely on state and institutional markets. If I take someone who goes to secure a contract, it's at their own risk. We need to work. We need to work. Please. That was over 100 years ago. Others created engines. What have we done in Burkina? That was over 100 years ago. They learned how to detect oil, to extract it, to refine it, to create gasoline, diesel, and everything else. What are we doing in Burkina? That was over 100 years ago. They created their own gunpowder, explosives, they manufacture ammunition and weapons. What are we doing? Over 80 years ago, they mastered the atom. They built the nuclear bomb, and today, nuclear energy. What are we doing? Are they smarter than us? Do you think so? If you don't believe in yourself, you really need to question yourself, try to reprogram your own mind again so you can believe in yourself. Because we can do it too. That's what I'm waiting for. Actually, we are at war. It's true that the theme, you're more focused on health, industry, and so on, and that's very good. As for the issue of defense, we will handle that privately because at the presidential level, we do have a department that deals with this matter. I want people to be able to come to me and say they can produce an engine. We will support them. I want people to be able to come to me and say they can manufacture the powder for our ammunition. We will support them. I want people to be able to come to me and say they can make trinitrotoluene. TNT, the basic explosive used in shells, even though there are more powerful explosives than that, we will support them. That's what we need. We can't go on like this. 100 years later, we still can't make one for the airplane. Maybe we can't even make a bicycle hub. Do you think that's serious? We are consumers, and we've been conditioned to be that way. And then you'll hear people debating. No, we can't do everything, we can't do this, we can't do that. And they've been trained just to talk. And they no longer believe in Africa. No, we need to stop talking. We need to work. And actually, when we work and then relax, that's the best way. But we can't keep going like this. You have TV channels and it's all about dancing. It's all distraction, it's comedy, that's it. I have nothing against artists, but we can't keep going like this. It's not possible. And we're going to have to put a stop to a lot of things. Don't be surprised if tomorrow you wake up, turn on your TV, and find that some channels are no longer broadcasting. Because that's what we're going to do. We're going to make people work. We too are capable of taking action. We can't keep making pottery like we've been doing for millennia. And today, everything in your bathrooms, the porcelain or whatever, even your plates, we can't import them. Oh well. Let's get serious. Do you agree with me? We need to change our mindset, and it's possible. Believe in yourselves. That's the first factor. Believing in yourself, believing that you are capable of doing it, and when we fail while trying, it's not the end of the world. You have to start again, you have to persevere. If today you take a phone, take it apart to try to make it yourself, and if it gets messed up, it's not a big deal. You have to do it again tomorrow. Take your own motorcycle, take it completely apart and try to put it back together to understand how it works. If there are some parts left over, it's not a problem. You have to move on to something else. It's good that things happen like this with laughter, but it's serious. So I sincerely encourage and invite all young people to carefully reconsider a lot of things. And as I said last time when I met with the students during Excellence Day, stop doing useless things on your social networks, on your digital platforms. There are pages, there are channels where you can learn science, where you can learn how to do things. I was saying you'll find Indians, Pakistanis, people from certain countries, in any case, who manage to make basic tools and post them on social networks. Take an interest in that and try to reproduce it here. Instead of going to watch dances, or even dancing yourself like a fool, for reasons no one understands. But that's not it. But others encourage you in that direction. But look at some embassies here. They only fund that. Go to their embassies with a scientific or technological project or an invention you want to develop. That doesn't interest them. If you agree, they'll take you to their country. You go do it over there. But if it's to do it here, they'll never fund you. But if you come with an entertainment project, they'll help you, they'll fund you. And afterwards, they'll come out and say, it's to promote Burkinabe culture. Guys, we don't want that. We want technology first. As for culture, we'll fund our own culture ourselves and we'll find every way to do it. So we're not asking anyone to come and fund Burkinabe culture. That's something intrinsic to us, it's fundamental, we'll do it ourselves. We're not even asking anyone for help to do that. So try it out, go to their embassies, present your inventions to do it here. They will never help you. And that doesn't tell you anything. So I urge the youth to wake up. Scientists, researchers, make yourselves available so you can support. Those who haven't gone to school, someone might invent something, but they don't know the chemical composition. But it's up to you, researchers, when we send them to you, to be able to take their invention and say, okay, it's made up of this, 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 and this component. And then help them improve according to your needs. That's the kind of symbiosis I want to see through this kind of forum. That's what can help us. I see that the lady from Adipro, I don't know if she's here, the sponsor of the forum, but I was at the opening of the factory. When I was walking through the factory, I asked her a question. So there are foreigners here to operate the machines. We want to industrialize, but for all that we have to import. There are things you see in certain industrial units that you just can't understand. Just a conveyor belt running with an electric motor that turns it, but we have to import it. Over there, they're not afraid of God, so why should we be? Let's just do it, sorry, watch, then copy, and then make it ourselves. We go and pay for a long conveyor belt with an electric motor at the end, which turns and moves things along. But we go and pay over there. We can't manufacture it here. It's actually a sickness. And everyone needs to talk to each other so we can heal. There is a lot to be done. As for me, your operating budgets, once again this year, I'm going to cut them to help young people who invent things and so on, so they can manufacture things locally. So get ready again. You're going to come, I'm going to cut your institutions, your whatever, I'm going to cut your operating budgets again. Because there's no point in holding workshops or whatever, and then we import everything you even use in the workshop. Here we are, talking into imported microphones. That's the truth. We can't go on like this. All the chairs you're sitting on, maybe they're imported, they're not even made here. So let's change. And it's possible. And maybe to finish, this is also to call out to those who invent and who are searching. Don't, from the very first invention or the first research, immediately try to become a multimillionaire and a big boss. A lot of people make this mistake. When they create something, well, with the first government contract, the prices are set at a certain level. And it's just not possible because he wants, with the very first order, to go buy the latest iPhone, the latest Samsung, the latest Huawei. He has 5 phones in his hand, walking around thinking he's become a big boss. No, it happens little by little. If you can't compete, that's what's important. So please, take it slow, take it easy. It's also that the government provides resources, and it's the government that funds everything. You can't take government resources, try to create something, and then make it your private property. It's first and foremost for the government. Now, there can be an agreement between you and the government so that industry can take this and produce it on a large scale. So, industrialists must necessarily support research and innovation because they are the ones who will benefit from it. So we have no choice but to put something in place so that you contribute in one way or another. You sponsor a lot of entertainment events, so you can also sponsor young people who are going to invent. So get ready, that's how it's going to be done. And remember one thing to finish. We need everyone's brains. And everyone is capable of creating something. It's definitely possible. So, all those who have full and well-filled heads, we need you. But we still need someone with a mind full of knowledge and a heart full of patriotism. But someone with a brain full of knowledge and a heart empty of patriotism, we do not want. Because that would just be the pursuit of personal interest. They do not see the interest of the nation. Be patriotic researchers. You can bring about a revolution. I have confidence in you and I know you can do it. You have already worked miracles. There are some who have created things. That is to say, all over the world, people have been researching for millennia. They never found the solution, but in Burkina, we found the solution. There are some in Burkina. Maybe it hasn't been popularized enough. Maybe we need to look at these things to popularize them properly. So you are capable of creating, believe in yourselves, all of you who think you have sharp minds and hearts full of patriotism. We are waiting for you so that we can move forward together to create, to innovate, and to truly be the heart of West Africa and become a power, just as our father of the revolution dreamed for Burkina Faso. It is truly possible. It is truly possible for us to exploit our resources and live comfortably. You go to Dubai or wherever and you are very happy. China used to be behind, lagging by 50 years. They were far behind. But today it has surpassed everyone. It's thanks to hard work. Let's work first and then we can have fun. But we shouldn't put entertainment first. So I am counting on each and every one of you. I wish you a very good forum and some excellent discussions. And I asked about the prizes that are being awarded. I took the example of Miss Burkina today. The first prize is 5 million, right? The second prize is 3 million and the other prize is 2 million. Well, we are going to change that starting today. I hope there are some good inventions this time. If there are, we will multiply all the prizes by 5. And we will make sure of that. Okay? So, the competition is open, and if it means that the FRSITs have to be held every year to encourage people to create and invent more, we will be ready to take responsibility and invest whatever needs to be invested in it. So take this as money, count it as damages. Thank you all very much. I wish you a great forum, and I will be attentive to the results and the discussions. Something positive will come out of this forum, and may God bless you all. May God protect our beloved homeland.
Brothers and sisters, this message is a challenge to all of us to rise, to think differently, and to believe that Africa's future is in our own hands. Your thoughts matter, and your voice is part of this awakening. So tell us in the comments below, do you believe Africa can achieve full technological and industrial independence within our lifetime? What do you think is the biggest obstacle preventing African nations from producing and innovating for themselves?